صلوات. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صلوات. دعاء معلم زمانة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم خل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنوا أرضك طوعا وتمتعوا فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صلوات.
Jazakallah, thank you so much for that beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran. I would like to now invite Brother Rafat for the Hadith Kisa. Bismillah.
بعد الصلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وسرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعات وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمّا. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله. أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب هودي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمّا. فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم منك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا، السلام عليك يا من اختار الله، وتأذن لي أن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شابع أمتي قد عزمت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. صل على محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب عليه السلام قال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى. فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسيع وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي قد عزمت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتا يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد عزمت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على. فلما اكتملن جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وهامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيعا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال العمين جبريل: يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة أبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبريل: يا رب أتعذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد عزمت لك. فهبط العمين جبريل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرأك السلام ويخصك بالتهية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماعا مبنيا ولا أرضا مدهيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيعا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ وقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا عمين وحي الله. إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبريل معنا تحت الكساء. اللهم صل على. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل إن الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر قبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر قبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، ففيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجتي إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا السعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد.
Jazakallah. Can we have a loud salawat for the brother, please? I would like to now request brothers Ali Mehdi and Ali Abbas for some souls and salam, please. Loud salawat for them as well.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. زانو ہے شاہدی کا اور سر ہے آپ کا، کتنی ہنسی ہے آپ کی تقدیر اے حبیب. صلوات.
دوستی کو دوام بخش ہے، عشق کو ایک نظام بخشا ہے، جان دے کر حبیب نے شاہ پر خود کو اعلیٰ مقام بخشا ہے. صلوات.
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد.
لکھا حسین نے خط میں حبیب آ جاؤ، ہو تم فقیہ زمانہ حبیب آ جاؤ. میں لکھ رہا ہوں تمہیں خون کی سیاہی سے، میں کربلا میں ہوں میرے رفیق آ جاؤ. یہاں پہ ساتھ میں لایا ہوں اپنے کنبے کو، کوئی بھی پاس نہیں ان پہ سایہ کرنے کو. ہے ساتھ اکبر و عباس، قاسم و اصغر، کیا جانتے نہیں ہے ساتھ زینب مزدر، جو پر لو خط میرا آ جانا کربلا بھائی، بہت قریب ہے عاشور کی اذاں بھائی، جو مل نہ پایا میں تم سے یہ عصر عاشورا، تو تم سے مل نہیں پاؤں گا پھر میں دوبارہ. جو نہ پائے شہادت کے قبل تم میرے، تو آؤں گا خود ملنے تمہیں قیامت پہ. حسین بیٹا ہے زہرا کا بس یہی کہہ دو حسین خود ہے بلاتا حبیب آ جاؤ لکھا حسین نے خط میں حبیب آ جاؤ ہو تم فقیہ زمانہ حبیب آ جاؤ صلوات
Jazakallah. Can we get a loud salawat for them, please? Can I now get Brother Mehdi for the recitation of Marsiya? Loud salawat, please.
پانو پچھلے پہر اصغر کے لیے روتی ہے ایک وہ جاگتی ہے خلق خدا سوتی ہے سر کو بھی پیٹتی ہے جان کو بھی کھوتی ہے یہ عجب غم ہے تسکین نہیں ہوتی ہے یہ عجب غم ہے کہ تسکین نہیں ہوتی ہے پیٹتے پیٹتے بے ہوش جو ہو جاتی ہے علی اصغر کی صدا آ رہی ہے علی اصغر کی صدا آتی ہے کبھی کونے میں وہ منہ ڈھانپ کے چلاتی ہے اور کبھی صحن میں گھبرا کے نکل آتی ہے کوک پکڑے ہوئے ہر ایک طرف جاتی ہے ڈھونڈتی ہے مگر اصغر کو نہیں پاتی ہے ڈھونڈتی ہے مگر اصغر کو نہیں پاتی ہے تن کو لرزش ہے جدا و رحم وزار جدا دل تڑپتا ہے جدا سینے میں ہے درد جدا دل تڑپتا ہے جدا سینے میں ہے درد جدا کبھی کہتی ہے کہ گھر میں میرا اندھیارا ہے علی اصغر کی جدائی نے مجھے مارا ہے ہائے میں گھر میں ہوں جنگل میں میرا پیارا ہے مہربانی جو کرے موت کو چھٹکارا ہے مہربانی جو کرے موت کو چھٹکارا ہے کب تلک راتوں کو ہم نال و فریاد کرے یا الہی علی اصغر مجھے بھی یاد کرے یا الہی علی اصغر مجھے بھی یاد کرے گود پہلا کے کبھی کہتی ہے دل بر آجا روح بے چین ہے آجا علی اصغر آجا دل تڑپتا ہے میرے گود کے اندر آجا فاطمہ کے لیے فاطمہ کے لیے آجا پہ حیدر آجا بوند پانی کے لیے ہائے تیری جان گئی آمیں سفر گئی واری گئی قربان گئی آمیں سفر گئی واری گئی قربان گئی آ کے سینے سے میرا سینہ لگا دو بیٹا آگ برکی ہے کلیجے میں بھجا دو بیٹا خشک منہ اپنا میرے منہ سے ملا دو بیٹا ایک نظر چاند سی تصویر دکھا دو بیٹا ایک نظر چاند سی تصویر دکھا دو بیٹا جاؤ پھر خلد میں ماں تم کو نہ بہلائے گی ایک دم سے نہ زیادہ تمہیں تہرائے گی ایک دم سے نہ زیادہ تمہیں تہرائے گی لوریا ہم تمہیں اعلان دیا کرتے تھے آپ لیٹے ہوئے جھولے میں ہنسا کرتے تھے گھٹنیوں گھٹنیوں گھر آپ چلا کرتے تھے کرتا پکڑے ہوئے ہم ساتھ رہا کرتے تھے کرتا پکڑے ہوئے ہم ساتھ رہا کرتے تھے हाय माँ बाप से किस्मत ने छुड़ाया तुमको सोने जंगल में मेरी जान सुलाया तुमको सोने जंगल में मेरी जान सुलाया तुमको कल्क सब सोती है रातों को घरों में अपने हम अगर लेते हैं करवट तो कसम लो हमसे नींद आती है मेरे पहलू में अगर तुम होते तुम तो ए लख्त जिगर गोद में तुम तो ए लख्त जिगर मरखत के गए याद इस पालने वाली की बुलाई तुमने पायंती बाप की लाल बसाई तुमने पायंती बाप की लाल हाय असगरना तेरा देन हुआ माँ से अदा बोझ कोई मेरी गर्दन से न उतरा तेरा ना तेरी सालगिरह की ना तेरा दूध भरा ना लहद तुझको मिली तुझको मिला ना लहद तुझको मिली और न कफन तुझको मिला तुम तुम्हारे गाय छाती पलटाऊ केस को छोटे छोटे ये सलूके में पहनाऊं किसको
Can we get another loud salawat for them, please? Now, I would just like to invite Brother Hussein for some words of poetry that he would like to recite. A loud salawat, please.
A friend of Hussein and also the companion of Nabi and Ali. Let me tell you who is he and what is he. While Kufi sent in insincere arizas of plea, he did not use his old age excuse to flee. A friend in need is a friend indeed. The epitome of that is Ibn Mazahir. His name is Habib. And what divine mystery is this? That his parents chose for him the name Habib. And through few degrees of separation, he became God's Habib. How is that? In case you are wondering, then just listen to this, please. Muhammad Mustafa rose to become Allah's Habib. And through Husainu Minni, Abu Abdullah became Habib of Allah's Habib. And when standing alone, Hussein raised his hands for divine help. Through the dust of Karbala, a figure arose. Zainab announced, "O brother, smile that Allah has sent you your Habib." Fast forward year 2022, a new century, looking through the crowds of Aza Husseini, another of Allah's Habib calls upon you and me. While the old Ibn Mazahir said, "Labbaik" to Hussein, please raise your fist and say with me, "Labbaik ya Mahdi, Labbaik ya Mahdi, Labbaik ya Mahdi, Labbaik ya Mahdi." Salawat.
Muhammad. Another loud salawat, please. Well, we need just a few announcements. First of all, I would like to remind you that Dua Center is, for the first time, having a specific targeted program towards the youth. And obviously, like all of its other programs, this program runs on sponsorships and membership payments and donations. So if you would like to become a member, or if you would like to donate any amount, however big and however small, you can always e-transfer at duacenter110@gmail.com. We have a machine that accepts card outside, and obviously there's also cash payments as well. Number one. Number two is obviously, I would like to remind you, I said this yesterday, I will say this today again. When you come to this Farsh Aza, there's obviously respect, there's adab, that you come here, you sit down. So what does that mean? That means sitting down quietly. When someone's reciting, you don't speak, you don't run around. When someone's reciting, you listen, you stay off your phone. And you know, you've been seeing your parents do this for a long time, And mashallah, you guys have been doing it as well. So I just ask that we continue that. Lastly, I would like to recite Surah Fatiha for the marhum of today's sponsors. The names are Balqis Begum, Brother Adnan Ali, Anwar Ali, Irshad Ali, Bashira Begum, and all the other marhum of everyone present today. Al-Fatiha. One last announcement. On the 8th of Muharram, we are going to host a matamdari. Bahar parking lot mein matamdari hogi. So we ask that aapke ghar mein whatever alams you have, you bring them here so we can all inshallah have a proper matamdari under the name and the alams of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. With a loud salawat, I would like to now invite Dr. Shaeba Rizvi for him to address us. Please, loud salawat. For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please come as close as you can, as far forward, in case that there's other people that will come later on, they have space as well. For Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Another loud salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala محمد وآل محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغه مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفتن الذي ليس لصفته حد محدود ولا نعت موجود ولا وقت معدود ولا أجل ممدود فطر الخلائق بقدرته ونشر الرياح برحمته ووتدا بالصخور ميدان أرضه أول دين معرفته ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خير المبشرين والمنذرين شفيع ذنوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وحبيب قلوبنا سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا محمد أما بعد قال الله عز وجل في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم ألست بربكم قالوا بلى شهدنا أن تقولوا يوم القيامة إن كنا عن هذا غافلين. Can we have another salawat please? اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. MashaAllah. It is my greatest honor and I am most thankful to Allah that I have this opportunity again to see your noble faces and talk about the purpose of our creation and why we are here. Indeed, it is a great effort that has been made because, of course, we are transmitting much of this to the youth. So this great effort that has been made over here is something I would commend by the volunteers, the parents who come here, the management, and all who took initiative. And inshallah, we have to support this because the religion that we have, that we are talking about, has been with us for at least 1400 years. And actually, it's been with us for thousands of years because this is the religion of Hazrat Adam. This is the religion of Hazrat Nuh. This is the religion that Hazrat Nuh took upon the boat. This is the religion of Hazrat Ibrahim, the religion of Hazrat Ismail, all the way down to our last prophet. So for at least 7,000 years, we have been following the same instructions that were given to Allah. And how do we know these instructions? Because every generation has to tell the next generation. So our parents told us, we will tell you, and then one day you will, inshallah, be adults, all grown up. Right? That day is going to come one day. You can't imagine it right now. You're too young. Everything seems eternal. Life is going by in a very different way. But yes, one day you will be adults, all grown up. And you will have children of your own. And then you will teach them this as well. And maybe the language will be the same. Maybe the language will be different. It doesn't matter. Our parents taught this to us in Urdu. Maybe their grandparents taught them in Farsi. Maybe their great-grandparents taught them in Arabic. So this language is universal, and it will continue, inshallah, until the Zuhur and until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yesterday, I asked you to do some homework. How many of you did your homework? Raise your hand. Oh, very good, very good. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That's okay. I'm not grading you on this, so nobody gets an F. All of you pass. But those who did their homework get an A+. And do you remember which verse it was? 7? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Very good. This verse will help you a lot throughout your life, because this verse is telling you the truth. Whereas many people will say there is no Allah. They will say you believe in something that is not true. They will say, why don't you believe in the spaghetti monster? They will say, why don't you believe in Santa Claus? Believe in unicorns? Believe in things that don't exist? But what does this verse tell you? This verse tells you, and when you read it, did you read the translation? A little bit? No? Not the translation, just the Arabic part? That's okay. Now, today's homework is, when you go home, you will read the translation of 7.172. Knowing what you are saying is very, very important. Because if you just read Surah Fatiha and you don't know the meaning of it, then you don't gain the true benefit. So always try and read the translations of what you are saying. Today it was so wonderful to see the young ones reciting Marsiya. I heard a Marsiya when I came in being recited by 3 young ones, and then another one that I was sitting here and present for, mashallah, the 2 young ones who were reciting it. And that is the greatest gift to see the next generation carrying on the Azadari of Imam Hussein. That is something that will allow us elders to stand before Imam Hussein with pride and not with shame, that we transmitted to our young ones Azadari. We transmitted to them the story of Karbala, and now you will give it to the next generation. So now what do you have as a responsibility on your shoulders? Do you know who you are? Do you know how valuable you are? Do you know in this world what your role and identity is? Let's unfold that story a little bit. Before I do that, there was a question. There was a question that was asked. I might forget later on in the Masaib, so I just want to talk about it. And the question that was asked was, when I said that Hazrat Hur went to Imam Hussein's side, and when he went there, he joined his army, and then he was martyred for Imam Hussein and for Allah. Then the question that was asked, and this is what's wonderful about, discussion, because whenever you hear something, questions are asked. And whenever questions are asked, you should always ask them. Because Imam Ali alayhi salam, can we have a salawat? Allahumma salli Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. When he was asked, "Oh Master, oh Mawla, what is knowledge? What is knowledge?" Knowledge, he said, is the answer to a question. So that is knowledge. The knowledgeable one will answer the question. And if they can't answer the question, they will say, I don't know. So if I know the answer, I will answer it. If I don't know the answer, I will say, I don't know. But that should never stop you from asking a question. Do you ever feel that sometimes when you ask a question, perhaps you're thinking it's a dumb question? Have you ever had that feeling? No? You become shy? Sometimes I'm in class when I'm young and this teacher has a question. I have a question, but I don't want to ask the teacher because I'm thinking, what if it's a dumb question? What if they make fun of me? What if they say, what a dumb question? Did you know there's no such thing as a dumb question? Did you know that? In fact, dumb and question are opposites of each other. That's like saying there's a tall, short person. There's a rich, poor person. There's a healthy, sick person. There's a nightly day, a daily night. These are opposites. Can water be cold and hot at the same time? Probably not, right? Water can't be cold and hot at the same time. A question is a sign of intelligence. It is only the intelligent mind that asks a question. Therefore, it's not possible that a question can ever be dumb. But sometimes if the person doesn't know the answer, they will make you feel like that. But know that no question is ever a bad question. Every question is a good question because it brings answers. So, you know what somebody asked after listening to yesterday's? A beautiful question. And they said, why didn't Hazrat Hur? Because this is something maybe we would do. Why didn't Hazrat Hur take water with him? Because 3 of them went over. They went from Yazid's army to Imam Hussein's army. They went from hell into heaven. They went from the wrong side to the right side. They went from darkness into light. Why didn't they take some water with them? Maybe they could have snuck it in. There could have been some way some of the children could have gotten water. That's a wonderful question and very valid. You see, the Battle of Karbala was a battle in which Imam Hussein and his family and friends were besieged. Do you know what besieged means? Besieged means when you're under siege. Under siege means you are surrounded by the enemy and nothing is coming in, nothing is going out. This is what under siege means. So what happens is when they surround the camp and they don't let any food and water enter, this is siege. So this is often done in battles and armies. For example, when an army attacks a fortress and they're not able to get over the walls, they will besiege them. This is siege. They will besiege them. And when they put them under siege, now they've surrounded them with guards. No one's allowed in or out. So they did manage to get in. They did manage to pass through, but they were checked. They were not allowed to bring any food and water in. So that's why. So now let's continue with what we were talking about yesterday. Let's have a salawat first. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. And yesterday we stopped at the verse 7:172. But let's go a little bit before that, because what we said was that the earth was here for about 5 billion years maybe. But upon this earth now, at that time, before the creation of Adam, there were jinn present here. There were only jinn and probably dinosaurs, some other prehistoric creatures, some of the ones that have become extinct. They were here. We weren't here. Our lineage from Hazrat Adam was not here. So at that time, there were jinn, and those jinn, you know, they were becoming very, very rebellious to Allah. And they had completely stopped worshiping. And when you stop worshiping Allah, then you stop following laws. When you stop following laws, your society falls into chaos. Are you seeing right now? You are too young. But as you get a little older, you will see how much chaos there is now in our society. Those of my age are looking and we are just laughing. We don't know what to say now about this society and the direction it's moving in with all of the strange confusions. People don't know anything about themselves now. They don't know who they are anymore. They don't know what their biology is anymore. They don't know what their psychology is anymore. In fact, we're so confused. At that time, the jinn, they were attacking each other, they were killing each other, they were robbing, there was so much evil. And so Allah decided to remove them because they were only getting worse and worse and they were refusing to listen. So they were removed from the planet. That means jinns went extinct by the order of Allah. But Iblis stayed alive. Who's Iblis? Iblis is Shaitan. That's his name. That's right. That's his name. Shaitan is a title. It's like a status. It's like you can be an engineer or a doctor or a student or a teacher, or you can be a shaitan. Shaitan is a job. What's your job when you're shaitan? You're always just corrupting other people. You know what shaitan can do, what power he has? He has 3 powers. You know what the powers are of shaitan? We'll talk about them. What is the power of shaitan? True, he does that, yes. Let's see the story unfold. Now what happens is Allah says that I will put a caliph upon the earth. And when I put this caliph upon the earth, this caliph is going to be Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. I'm going to put a human now. I am about to create a human. So when the angels hear this, they say, you're going to create a human. You're going to create a human that's going to go to earth and that's going to cause bloodshed and do lots of bad things. And Allah says, I know what you do not know. When they come, yes, there will be bloodshed, there will be bad things, but there will be good amongst the humans as well. Oh, angels, you will see that good. You do not see it right now. So Allah creates Hazrat Adam. When He creates Hazrat Adam, then what happens is Hazrat Adam was made out of clay. He was made out of clay. He was not born from mother or father. He's the first one. So He created Hazrat Adam out of clay, and He created Hazrat Hawa out of clay. When they were made by clay, we mean the same material you're made of. This is also clay. Clay is the material that has all of the minerals of the earth in it. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. It has sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, many chemicals in clay. That's basically what you're made of. In the Quran, it's called clay, but it's basically your DNA. So the DNA, the cells, they were all put together, and now Hazrat Adam is there. And then He says, I will blow the spirit into Hazrat Adam. When He says, I will blow the spirit into it, that means all of us were now put, our genetics were put into Hazrat Adam. We were all specks inside him. What did we say yesterday? That everybody then was put before Allah in the sky. And where was this happening? You know, outside of our known galaxies and universe, above this there is a heaven. And there's 7 levels of that. So outside of your galaxy, the known galaxy, and outside of your known universe, you have heaven. And heaven has 7 levels, and above heaven then is going to be this place that is called the Arsh, and that is another land above that, and on that is the Kursi. And the Kursi is where we know that Allah's commands come from. He doesn't sit on a throne. It is a throne made of light, but Allah doesn't sit on it because Allah is not in a physical form that He would fit into a chair. Allah is not physical. So it represents His authority. And that is where the angels were when they were doing tawaf of the Arsh. And so what happened of the Kursi. And so what happens is at that time Allah says, now I'm going to create Adam. And then Adam appears before them. Iblis at that time had been promoted to captain of a group of angels. So Iblis was first in heaven. He was living in heaven at that time because Allah had allowed him to. Even though Allah knew Iblis was going to become shaitan, Allah still did not punish him until he exposed himself, until he fought and rebelled against Allah. So he was worshiping, and he was a captain of the angels, and one day Iblis was talking to his angels, because he was their leader, and he was a leader of a small group, but he would tell them that, you know, this is what to do, that is what to do, and he gave them lectures. One day, all of the angels were sitting in front of Iblis, and they were very worried. And they were whispering amongst each other. And Iblis looked at them and said, why are you whispering? And they said, we have heard that tomorrow there's going to be a command given by Allah. But one person will disobey that command. And Iblis said, don't worry about it. It won't be you. I'm your leader. I'll protect you. So Iblis said, raise your hands in dua. And then when they raised their hands, Iblis said to them that may none of you be amongst the ones who rebel against Allah tomorrow. But he didn't include himself in the dua. He didn't include himself because he didn't think he would ever be that one. He was thinking it would be someone else. So it was his big ego. It was his ego. It made him, you know what ego is? Ego. Ego is when you think you're the best. I'm number one. There's no one better than me. This is what we call having an ego problem. This was Iblis's problem. He thought he was the best, untouchable. The next day, when Hazrat Adam is there, and Allah says, now I will blow the spirit into him, all of our souls were blown into Hazrat Adam. When this happened, then he said, now everybody bow down in sajda to Hazrat Adam. He told all the angels, he said, out of respect of my might and my vilayat and my nur that I have blown into this, and out of respect of the masumin, Even the Holy Prophet and Imam Ali and the Imams, their souls were said to also be put into Hazrat Adam. So then out of respect, you should all bow down. Everybody bowed down except for one person, Iblis. He didn't bow. Then Allah asked him, why didn't you bow, O Iblis? And Iblis said that I am better than him. Why should I bow down to him? And then Allah said to him, why are you better than him? And Iblis said, because I have been made from fire, and he has been made from clay, so I am better than him. And Allah said, are you doing takabbur? Are you one, or are you amongst the aleen? So he asked him a question. He said, oh Iblis, are you doing takabbur? Or are you amongst the aleen? And then they didn't ask, but they should have asked, who are the aleen? The aleen were 14 lights that were present above the kursi that did not do sajda to Hazrat Adam. They didn't have to. Iblis saw them and he looked at those lights and he said, how come they didn't do sajda to Adam and I have to do sajda? So Iblis became jealous of the aleen. And then he did jealousy from the aleen and takabbur in regards to Hazrat Adam. So what happened was he said, I'm better than him. But is fire really better than clay? That is the question. What did Iblis say? That fire is better than clay. That is why I will not do sajda. I am better than these humans. Iblis is of the jinn and the humans are of clay and Iblis is of fire. So do you think fire is better than clay? It seems kind of amazing. Fire can like burn things. Clay doesn't burn anything. Clay just sits there doing nothing. Fire can destroy the world. Fire comes from the sun. Fire gives you light. Fire heats up your food. If you didn't have fire, how would you have some nice warm steaks and burgers? So fire seems very glamorous, right? Very bright. Why do you think clay is better? Are you saying that because you're better? Because you are clay? Or is there a reason? What is the reason? Why is clay better? Yes, please.
I think it's better because fire causes destruction most of the time.
Very nice. So fire is destructive and clay is very productive. That's very true. Actually, that's what the Imam said. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, as-salatu was-salamu alayhi. A man asked Imam and said, oh Imam, look at Iblis. He said that fire is better than clay and Allah removed him from his kingdom and he went away. But tell me, is fire really superior to clay, O Master? What is superior? And Imam said, haven't you read Surah Yasin? In Surah Yasin it says that Allah is the one who created for you. What did he create for you? He created for you a tree. And from that tree comes fire, and from that fire you can benefit. So he says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنَ الشَّجْرِ الْأَخْضَارِ نَارًا. He is the one who created for you from the tree fire. So where do we get flames from, fire from? We get it by burning things like wood. So wood is giving us fire. Now fire comes from wood. That means fire is inferior to the tree. Why? Because the tree gives fire. Whatever causes something, causes an effect, is superior to the effect. So the tree is superior to fire. Why? Because the tree causes the fire. But what causes the tree? The clay of the earth. The clay of the earth causes the tree. So you are clay, the earth is clay. And the earth causes the tree, and the tree causes fire. So therefore, clay is superior to fire. So Iblis was wrong. But what did he do? He did takabbur. Why? Because he thought he was better. He thought he was better. So Allah said to him, you will go from here from now. And then Iblis said, I will go, but I want to be allowed to live until the day of judgment. And Allah said, I will let you live until a designated day. He said, there will be one day, I will let you live until then, the designated day. But then Iblis said, I also want to have two powers. You know what other two powers Iblis has? Because he's the enemy, one of the enemies. You have to know your enemy's powers, so you protect yourself from him. One power he has, he will live till the day that Allah has designated. So he's still alive today. You know what his second power is? His second power he asked for is waswasa. That's an Arabic word. It sounds like some kind of chutney or something, wasabi. Waswasa is what he can do in your mind. He whispers to you. You know, when you get a bad idea, when you get an idea that's something you shouldn't do, when you get an idea for disobeying, when you get an idea for doing something you know is wrong, that idea is now what Iblis is doing. He does the waswasa. So what are you supposed to do at that time? You repel him. Have you read stories in which there's magic spells? And people use magic spells to repel things? Yes, there's stories like that with spells. Well, spells aren't real, but you know the Quran is real. And its powers are real. So you can use the Quran to dispel shaitan. That means that you do have something. It's not a spell, it's simply a dua. And when you do this, then Allah helps you to repel the whisperings of Iblis. What would you say to make shaitan go away? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So simple, isn't it? And then after that, you can read the most powerful verse for protection now against him, which is Suratun Nas. Do you guys know Suratun Nas? You have to remember that one. And whenever you get a bad idea in your mind, just recite Suratun Nas and it goes away. So simple. So this is the second thing. What's the third thing that Iblis has? The third thing. The third thing he has is that with every child of Hazrat Adam, he's going to have children born as well. So there's many children Iblis has now, and they're kind of following us around trying to tempt us. But you can protect yourself. How? Just by reciting Surat An-Nas. Very easy. So that's the first thing you do in the morning, and we are safe now. Now what happens is, after this, Adam and Bibi Hawa are told, okay, you guys can go to heaven now. So now they go to heaven. And Allah tells them, live in heaven and do what you like, but just don't eat from this one tree. There's one tree there they're not supposed to eat from. Everything else is okay. They're allowed to eat there, no problem. Hazrat Adam and Bibi Hawa are now strolling through the gardens in Jannat. Adam and Eve, alayhim salam. Strolling through the gardens in Jannat, they're looking around at everything, and what a beautiful sight, and what nice trees, and what mountains, and rivers, and gardens, and how fortunate we are, we're blessed. Allah has created all of this for us, and we are living in it. Very nice. And as they're wandering through, what happens is, then they come to this big palace, the biggest palace they have seen yet. And when they look at it, they say, I wonder who lives in this palace. So they approach the door. When they approach the door, they notice that the door opens by itself. So they go in. And when they go in, they hear a voice saying, welcome, come in, come in. Then they go forward, and there's a big hall, and then another door, and then another door, and another. 7 doors later, they then enter into this big hall, and there is a throne at the end of that hall. There is somebody sitting there. And that somebody, they can't see who it is because there's a lot of nur emanating from them, light. But they know that it's some lady. Out of respect, they put their heads down and they hear her say, oh, Adam and Hawa, come forward. So they go forward. When they go forward, the lady says, do you know who I am? And they say, no, we do not know who you are. And she says, did you not say my name? Did you not say my name when you were tested? And they say, he says, yes, I did say 5 names that Allah taught to me. He taught me the 5 names. And they say, and she says, what were those 5 names and what was the test? And he says that Allah taught me these names. And when he taught me these names, he told me, oh Adam, tell the angels what I have taught you. Because the angels said that Adam should not be the caliph. We should be the caliph. But Allah said to the angels that Adam has some knowledge that you do not have. That is why he is the caliph. And the angels then were tested. And when Allah had taught them the names, then he asked the angels, can you tell me who these lights are that are next to the kursi? And the angels said that we only know what you have taught us. We do not know their names. And then as Allah said to Adam, oh Adam, can you tell the angels what those names are? And then Adam said that I see one light, and that light is Muhammad, and you are Mahmud. And then he says, I see another light, that light is Ali, and you are Aliul A'la. And then he says, I see another light, and that is the light of Fatima, and you are Fatir al-Samawati wal-Ardh. And then he says, oh Allah, I see a fourth light, and that is Hassan, and you are Qadimul Ahsan. And I see another light, that is Hassan, and you are Mohsin. And I see a fifth light, that is Hussein, and you are Qadimul Ahsan. So he taught them the names of the Panjatan. Do you know the names of the Panjatan? Right? So how do you know them? Because your parents taught you? That's the same thing that Allah taught to Hazrat Adam. So you should go home tonight and say, oh, thank you, parents, for teaching me the same names that Allah had taught to Hazrat Adam way in the beginning, way in the beginning. Now, after those names are given, then Hazrat Adam says to the Lady of Light, to Bibi Fatima, she says, I am Fatima, and you said my name over there. She says, oh, Adam, do you know there is a crown on my head that is made of nur? Do you know whose nur that is? And he says, whose nur is that? She says, that is the nur of my father. Umma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Do you know that there is a nur that is coming from the earrings that she had? And he says, who is this nur? This is my children. There is a nur coming from the locket that I wear. That is the nur of my husband Ali. And after Hazrat Adam learns this, then he says salam to her, and then they take their leave, and then they leave the palace. When they leave the palace, then they are wandering around. At one point, Hazrat Adam says to Bibi Hawa, I'll be right back. I just want to go see what that tree over there is. And she's standing near another tree. She happens to be standing near the tree that Allah had said don't eat from. At this time, in the shape of a serpent, someone comes. And who comes now? And Shaitan comes. Now Shaitan looks at her. And when he looks at her, he says, would you like to live here forever? And she says, yes, this is a wonderful place. I want to live here forever. He says, there is only one way you can live here forever, or you will be removed from here soon. And so she says, what will that way be? He says, you must eat from this tree. But she says that Allah told us not to eat from this tree. But he says, if you want to live here forever, you must eat a fruit from that tree. Now, what is Iblis doing? He is lying. He's lying to Bibi Hawa. Why? Because Allah did not say that you don't have to live in heaven forever. Allah sent them to live in heaven forever. But what happens here is now he is deceiving her. Why did she get deceived? Because no one had ever lied to her before. They didn't even know what a lie was yet. They had only seen truth. They had only been in heaven and seen truth. But around her, this is the first lesson that they learn. The first lesson that they learn is there will be people in this world who may lie to you. So that is a very, very harsh lesson that Hazrat Adam and Bibi Hawa learned. The other thing that he did, what did he do to her? He shook her confidence. Because now she's thinking, oh, I can't live here forever, but Allah had said, go and live there forever. So what else will Iblis do? He'll try and shake your confidence. You know what your confidence is? Your confidence is what value you have in yourself. Do you know how valuable you are? How valuable are you? How valuable? Are you worth $10, $20, $5 billion, $1 million, 200,000 maybe? Maybe you're worth, can you put a price on yourself? How valuable are you? Do you know that one time a man came to our Imam, to Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. And he said to the Imam, oh Master, I have no money. Can you please do some dua for me so I get some wealth? And the Imam says, what is wrong? He says, I am so poor and destitute and I have nothing. I have nothing. He just completely despaired and hopeless, and he said, oh, I have nothing. Do you guys do that sometimes? Sometimes when you have 15 toys, but you want a 16th toy and your parents aren't getting for you and say, oh, I have nothing. Sometimes we do that. Do we do that? Sometimes we are eating every day, 3 times a day, but we don't get to eat that one thing we wanted to eat, and then we say, oh, you never give me anything to eat. Do we do that sometimes? So a man comes to the Imam and says, I have nothing at all. There's nothing with me. I have no money, no wealth, no food, and I'm very poor. Can you please pray for me? So the Imam says, of course I'll pray for you. Of course I'll do dua for you, and you will get rizq. But tell me this. How poor are you? I want to understand how poor you are. So the Imam says to him, listen, let's do a business deal. I'll give you all of the wealth in the universe. Do you know how much wealth that is in the universe? All of the wealth, I don't know either. I don't know how much wealth there is on this planet. Billions, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars, whatever it is. Big number, biggest number, imagine that. All the wealth in the universe. That's 1 billion galaxies of wealth. He says, I'll give you all the wealth in the universe. And the man says, okay, master, that sounds good. That's a good deal. He says, what do you want in return? He says, in return, I want you to give me the love you have for the Ahlul Bayt. Give me the love you have for the Ahlul Bayt. Take it away out of your heart. Give it to me. I will keep it with me. You will no longer have any love for the Ahlul Bayt, and I will give you all the wealth of the world. The man says, no, master. That is not an acceptable deal for me. I would never give up the love I have. So he says, you have something that is so valuable that you are not willing to give it up. That you are not willing to give it up. Ek salawat pad dijiye. This is how valuable you are. Children are so valuable that the whole province gets an alert when one of you is away from your parents. But you are the most valuable. You know why? Of all the children in the world, the children who have the love of the Ahlul Bayt are the most valuable. So you have something that is more valuable than all of the wealth in the universe. You have to hold on to it. You have to be thankful for it. You have to always be respectful to your parents because they are the ones who gave it to you. And from a very young age, there was a beautiful poem right now recited as well in English about Hazrat Habib ibn Mazahir. And in the poem, I heard the young ones say that Habib was named Habib as divine inspiration because Habib means loved one. And Habib ibn Mazahir was the one who was loved by Imam Hussein. Truly loved by Imam Hussein. Why? Because they were friends from a very young age. And Hazrat Habib's love for Imam Hussein was so intense that it is said that whenever Hazrat Habib would see Imam Hussein walking anywhere in Medina, he would follow in his footsteps and walk behind him. And he would collect the sand and the dirt that had been touched by Imam Hussein's shoes. This is how much love and respect he had for Imam Hussein. He dedicated his life to Imam Hussein. He wanted nothing and cherished nothing more than Imam Hussein. But it is said that when Karbala had happened, when it was happening, and on the day of Ashur, just a few days before the day of Ashur, it is said that Imam Hussein's sister, Bibi Zainab, she goes to Habib, and she goes to Habib and says, oh Habib, she goes to Imam Hussein and says, oh Hussein, I am seeing that there are many people gathering as enemies against us, but there are not many people coming to our side. And she knew that Imam Hussein was feeling lonely because of this. So she says to Imam Hussein, why? She says, oh Hussein, why do you not write a letter to your dear friend, childhood friend, Habib? And so Imam Hussein writes a letter to Habib. And then Habib receives the letter. And when the letter comes to his home, it is said that Habib is sitting at the dinner with his wife. And he is sitting there, and then a man comes and knocks on the door. When he knocks on the door, Hazrat Habib goes to open the door. He opens the door, and the man says, I am a messenger from Imam Hussein, and he has sent this letter for you. Hazrat Habib takes the letter and puts it to his eyes and kisses it out of love for Imam Hussein, and then opens up the letter. When he opens up the letter, he looks at it and reads it and starts to cry. Because in the letter, it says that, oh Habib, this is a letter from your childhood friend Hussein, the son of Fatima. O Habib, I have been surrounded by the enemy in the land of Karbala. O Habib, if you want to come to my aid, then you should come and you should reach me before the day of Ashur, before the 10th of Karbala. After that, it will be too late. Hazrat Habib looks at his wife and his wife says, what is wrong, O Habib? And he says that there is a letter from my dear friend Hussein and he is calling me. And she says, what are you waiting for? He says, I don't know if I should go or not. And she says to him that, oh Habib, if you do not go to help Hussein, then I will go in your stead. And he says, I just wanted to hear you say that. And then he gets up and he gets ready to leave. And then he leaves with great difficulty because there is a lot of guards and soldiers that are surrounding Kufa, not letting anybody out of the city of Kufa. Many people in the city of Kufa wanted to go and help Imam Hussein, but they were put in jails. They were not allowed to go. So then Habib, through the night, very quietly manages to get out of Kufa. And when he gets out of Kufa, his son and another person are waiting there with a horse, and then they leave together. And all of them reach Imam Hussein. When they reach Imam Hussein, then as they are standing at the tent of Imam Hussein, and Hazrat Habib is looking at his beloved friend surrounded by the enemy, it is said that Bibi Fizza comes, and Bibi Fizza says, oh Habib, you should know that the daughter of Ali, Zainab, has sent you her salam. And she has said, thank you for coming to the aid of my brother. At that time, Habib becomes very sad. And he says, I cannot believe that now the Ahlul Bayt are in such a situation that little ones like me are getting the salam from the princesses, from the daughters of Imam Ali. It is said that at that time, Habib sits on the ground, takes off his amama, and starts to put sand upon his head and starts to cry loudly. Then there comes a time when Hazrat Habib is standing and they are getting ready for namaz. It is said that Salah was about to happen on the day of Ashur, and at that time Imam Hussein says, go and tell them that we want time for Salah. And then it is said that from Yazid's army they say, oh Hussein, what Salah will you pray? What namaz will you pray? What namaz of yours will be accepted? Hazrat Habib could not hear this about his Imam. He says that you are saying my Imam's Salah will not be accepted. He goes and attacks. He was very old at that time, very old. But he goes to attack the army and he kills many of the enemies of Imam Hussein, many of the soldiers of Yazid. But at one time it's said that now they surround him and all of the army of Yazid attacks Habib ibn Mazahir, and he receives a fatal wound and he comes to the ground. And when he comes to the ground, Imam Hussein rushes to his friend. When he reaches his friend is taking his last breaths. And when he reaches his friend, he goes and takes his friend into his lap. And he says, oh Habib, you are going now to heaven without me, but I will join you soon. He says, oh Hussein, forgive me. I could not defend you the way I should have defended you. He says, oh Habib, you have given your life for me. What more could one ask? Do you know when you go to Karbala, in Karbala, Hazrat Habib has his own separate roza that is right next to, the zari is right next to the zari of Imam Hussein. Do you know that? He's been given his own. Why? Because this is the special beloved of Imam Hussein, whom we have to always go and do ziyarah for. فَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ أَلَا لَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ مَاتَمِ حُسَيْنٍ.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Only just before Nahe begin, I just want to make a quick announcement. There's a car outside that is not parked correctly. It is a green Defender with the license plate number BYHC557. If that belongs to anyone here, please go and move it to a correct parking spot. Please, Jazakallah. I would now like to invite Brother Raza for the Naha, please. Bismillah. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein.
غم یہ بانو کو صدا رلائے گا غم یہ بانو کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا غم یہ بانو کو صدا رلائے گا تم یہ بانو کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا کون جھولا تمہیں جھلائے گا کون جھولا تمہیں جھلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا 3 دن کی پیاس میں اے میری جان بیٹا خشک ہو گئی تیری زبان 3 دن کی پیاس میں اے میری جان بیٹا خشک ہو گئی تیری زبان کون پانی تمہیں پلائے گا کون پانی تمہیں پلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا غم یہ بان کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا درد ہوگا زخم میں تو روگے خبر میں بتاؤ کیسے سوگے درد ہوگا زخم میں تو روگے قبر میں بتاؤ کیسے سوگے کون لوری تمہیں سنائے گا کون لوری تمہیں سنائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا غم یہ بانوں کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا نیند کیسے آ گئی اٹھو اٹھو بیٹا رات ہو گئی ہے گھر چلو نیند کیسے آ گئی اٹھو اٹھو بیٹا رات ہو گئی ہے گھر چلو سونا دشت بھی تمہیں ڈرائے گا سونا دشت بھی تمہیں ڈرائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا غم یہ بانوں کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا کچھ تو بد نصیب ماں سے لو مدد آنسوؤں سے تر کرو کہو لحد کچھ تو بد نصیب ماں سے لو مدد آنسوؤں سے تر کرو کہو لحد کون آنسو یہاں بہائے گا کون آنسو یہاں بہائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا غم یہ بانوں کو صدا رلائے گا تم کو لال کیسے چین آئے گا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ 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 تمہارا دوست ہے تنہا تمہارا دوست ہے تنہا حبیب آ جاؤ یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ شہید کیسے ہوا وہ بتاؤ گے آ کر تم حال مسلم میں بے کس سناؤ گے آ کر رقیہ تکتی ہے رستہ حبیب آ جاؤ یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، لگاؤ اس سے بھی اندازے میری غربت کے، جہاں پہ ابن علی لکھنا تھا وہاں میں نے دیا ہے ماں کا حوالہ، حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، بتا رہا تھا اسے کوئی بھی نہیں ہے میرا، تو بولی ثانی زہرا حبیب آئے گا، ہے اس کو تم پہ بھروسہ حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، گوارا کر نہیں سکتی حسین کی غیرت، تمہاری زوجہ کی چادر کو لوٹ لے امت، تم اس کو چھوڑ کے کوفہ حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، مجھے ہے یاد وہ لمحات جو رب کی مرضی سے تم ہو کہ زندہ میری بات سننے آئے تھے، بلا رہا ہوں دوبارہ حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یہ ختم شاہ نے لکھا حبیب آ جاؤ، یا حسین
یا حسین اللہم صلی علی محمد توجہ زیارت. السلام علیک یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیک ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیک یا مولاي وعلى انصارك مستشهدين معك جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا مغيث الشيات والذوار في يوم الجزاء، السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس، السلام عليك المدفون بأرض الدوس أبو الحسن علي بن موسى رضا وراسب القدر والقضاء، السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان، السلام عليك خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك إمام سوى الجان، السلام عليك شيخ القرآن، السلام عليك ضعف الظلم والعدوان، السلام عليك قوم الكفر والطغيان، وأجل الله فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك ودهورك، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نعرہ حیدری.